Hi, it's my second video for YouTube. The first one I call the 3 points of parenting. Realize the importance of the job of parenting, set a goal, helping the child appreciate life, be happy, and 3, reach that goal easily. This one is important. I hope every single one is important. I know they are. Parenting itself is so important. This one I'm calling Don't Let the Baby Cry. So many of us have been told, I know I was, to let the baby cry. The babies just cry sometime, and if you go to the baby, every time it cries, though that baby will be spoiled, that child will grow up thinking can get everything it wants. That's another way to look at it that makes much more sense, that's accurate, that's truthful, all right? Go to the baby that cries, because imagine you, me, us, you will say, was lying in that crib, you were the baby, brand new baby in this world, not knowing anything. You've been inside a woman's body. You don't know where you are, don't know anything. You make a sound, and nothing happens, and that's all right. You make another sound and nothing happens, and you are wondering, don't know that word, but you are investigating, you are questioning. You make another sound, another sound, another sound, and nothing happens, and somebody put you there, and you kind of want to know what's going on, but nothing happens. Nobody comes to you. So you cry yourself to sleep. And maybe that happens and happens and happens. And what good does that do? I don't think it does any good. It does harm. Imagine you lying in the bed, making that sound and nobody coming. Instead, imagine somebody coming right away and picking you up and holding you close and saying, I love you, and carrying you into the room where that person had been, that mother or that father. How would you feel then as the baby? You would be starting off your life feeling loved, feeling respected. So many of us have heard, oh, the child should respect the parent. Well, if the child is going to respect the parent, it should start with the parent respecting the child from the moment the child is born. Why not respect the child? The child is worthy just like every other baby that's born in the world. The baby comes in ready to learn. And the teacher, in the formative years, the important formative years when the baby is formed, they're called formative because they're formative. In those years, the parent is the main teacher, the main influence. The parent can choose to be the main influence or can choose somebody else to be the main influence, but it's up to the parent to make that choice. It's the parent's decision what the child will be, and it starts with the cry from the crib. Always the parent should answer those first cries from the crib. And you know what will happen? The child, in feeling loved, respected, instead of confused and unloved and unhappy, doesn't know those words, but that's how the baby would feel, obviously, compared to the baby who had been picked up and carried into the other room, or maybe just hugged right there where it was with the parent walking with the baby. And the parent cannot hug a baby too much. Hugs with the baby give that baby security forever. It's important. It's even been proved, and this is a recent scientific proof that hugging a baby makes the baby grow smarter, grow up smarter. Isn't that fascinating? There's a scientific way that it can be explained, but also I think it can be explained with common sense. A child who's not hugged, who's left crying, nobody cares about me, will feel stressed. That continues, and even if it just starts in the beginning, it's hard to change, but there's always a way to change. I'm going to have a video on that at some point, how to change if the parent wants to do it differently than what she'd done. But if the child is calling and is not answered, yes, the child will feel confused and unhappy, and it makes a difference badly. So, not only in the very beginning, but as the child grows, answering the child matters. The cries will stop, and there will be real questions as the child grows older. But the little baby will stop crying when the parent answers the cry. Doesn't happen immediately, but should I not tell you personal things? Maybe it's all right. I know my mother was surprised when my little baby son would spend the night, just as a young baby, would spend the night with her, and she said that she would wonder in the morning she hadn't heard her cry. She would go back to the little crib she had, and there he would be lying, just looking, and as she said, just thinking. Well, it's because from the beginning we had answered him. He was not feeling stressed. As I was saying when I read that it's been big news that the parent hugging the child will help the child be smarter. It makes sense because a person who's stressed is sort of closing out learning, closing out a lot of life, spending time being stressed. Child may not realize it, or the adult who is stressed may not realize it, but the one who's not stressed is open to learning and to helping other people and to enjoying life, being happy. Mm-hmm. So, as my mother said, he was just lying there looking around thinking, and the parent answering the baby cry in the very beginning will hold the baby. And what we did in the night when the baby would wake at night, we were so thrilled. We were so thrilled to have that baby. And my husband would usually go to the baby at first, change the diapers and hug him and bring him into bed with us. Sometimes it was me, but usually it was my husband who would go right back to sleep. It seems very sad to me when I hear a parent complain about the child waking the parent at night. Of course the newborn baby will. The baby doesn't know the difference in night and day in the beginning. But so bringing the child into bed with us, my husband would bring the baby and I would nurse the baby, and we would all fall asleep. Almost always that's what happened. And then after a while I'd wake up and take him back to his crib and say quietly, while he was still asleep, but I would say to him, "I'm right here. Call me if you want anything." Now, that's very different than yelling at a baby and saying, "Stop crying, stop crying. Stop crying this minute. You're waking me up. Go to sleep. It's nighttime." And some people do that. And they don't know, and I don't blame parents for doing any of this. So many books have been written. So many people have talked about parenting over the years and said to be stern. No, please, instead of the word stern, think of the word kind. Kindness begets kindness, right? So the baby who is answered will learn pretty quickly that he's not panicked, that he's not having to keep yelling excuse me, yelling wouldn't be what he would say, that would keep crying out, the baby will learn, because the baby will not feel a need, will feel relaxed and happy. It starts in the beginning, happiness. Now, as the child grows and as a toddler asking questions, the same thing works. Answer the questions. And the child will be happy as he learns. Of course he's going to ask questions, unless he's really a unusual child. Most children come into the world not disturbed. Some do have physical problems and some have mental problems. Often, too often, mental problems are diagnosed as if the child was born with them, but it's happened because of the early treatment from the parent or whoever the main caregiver is. It's the parent usually. But as the child grows and the parent answers the questions, the child will be learning, the child will feel happy with life, and the child, I don't want to say will stop asking questions. The child will probably still ask questions. We hope. We want a child who wants to learn, who knows. But it won't be like the baby who continually cries because he doesn't expect to be answered. It will be the toddler who keeps asking questions because he doesn't expect to be answered. And I bet all of you have seen this. I know I have. I saw the other day in the grocery store a child asking questions and the parent paying no attention to the child. And I thought, that child will be disturbed. That child is already disturbed. It already knows that the parent is not answering. So, answering the baby cry from the crib is so important. That's when it starts. And I will tell you something sort of surprising here, but I have been on several shows discussing this, and the title of the show has been called, "Are Mass Murderers Formed in the Crib?" And my answer is probably yes. Because mass murderers are not happy with life. We know that. The reason, the cause of mass murders is unhappiness. The cause of the violence right now in this country, I think, overall, is unhappiness. Because happy people don't want to throw bricks at others, set fire to buildings, hurt other people. Happy people want to be nice to other people. So that's our goal, and answering the baby's cry from the crib is the start. And it's so much fun, it's so rewarding to find that child happy. From the hugs, from nursing if the mother's nursing in the beginning, from being possibly in the bed with the parent for a while and then put back happily in the crib. I know there are different opinions from different pediatricians, but overall it is an accepted psychological fact that giving that child attention in the beginning matters, not to leave the child crying in the crib. I think all parents will be happy to know that. We want to be nice. It's a natural for a parent with a child to want to be nice to the child. And so let's remember to do that, all right? And I'll see you for the next video, I hope.